Choosing the right student and subject for your Part 3 or standards check could be all the difference between you either passing or failing. So in this video, I'm going to go through my top 10 tips. They are listed 1 to 10, of course, but they're not in order of priority because they're all important. Okay, so top tip number 1. Of course, you need to have a student who is going to be reliable, who's going to be there and turn up on the day at the time that you need them to, and you can depend on them. Top tip 2, you really need to try to find a student who is going to be talkative. By that I mean somebody that you can engage with. You can have a conversation around the subject that you're going to be teaching. You can ask them open questions and you're confident they'll be able to come back with some form of response. I'm not saying you can't take somebody who is quiet or shy, but if you do, you're really making life a lot harder for yourself than you need to. Top tip 3. I would suggest using a student who is either at intermediate level or test standard. You can choose to use a novice student, that's fine, as long as you don't need to be constantly pulling over to take control of the car to avoid safety critical situations. So you should be able to drive for the majority of the time with just general support from you. But again, you're going to be making life a lot easier for yourself if you're using somebody that is of a much higher ability. Top tip 4, when it comes to choosing the subject you are going to be teaching on your Part 3 or standards check, then use something that makes sense for that student's current level of ability and development. Don't choose a subject that you like teaching and try to shoehorn that in to the student's requirements. That simply won't work. So consider where they are in their current learning and then pick something that makes sense and would be a natural and normal progression for them, or you're going to go over and recap something that they have recently been struggling with and you just want to help them improve and make a little bit of further development. Top tip 5, once you know the student that you're going to be using and the subject that you're going to be teaching them, then plan a short route which you are going to be able to use for your Part 3 test or standards check. Now, don't forget, the test only lasts for around 45 minutes, and that includes around about 5 minutes at the start and around about 5 minutes at the end. So you've only got around about 35 hours of actual teaching to be done, and you might want to put some breaks in to that 35 minutes as well. So the route really shouldn't be very long. It's literally about 10 minutes away from the test centre to a practice area, do some practice, pull over, have a chat, do some more practice, pull over again, have a chat, and then about 10 minutes drive back to the test centre itself. Top tip number 6, explain that they are going to be driving before the test gets started. They'll take you down to the test centre, you're going to park up, you'll then disappear inside the test centre, you'll have a private conversation with the examiner, they'll then come out and join you and your student in the car, they will introduce themselves, they will explain to the student that they are there to assess your teaching ability, not the student's driving, and they'll try to reassure the student, try to make them at ease, and ask them to try to forget that they're there. Top tip 7, then explain to the students what you're going to be doing in a broad sense in terms of when the wheels get rolling on the test lesson itself. So just broadly explain, you're going to be heading out from the test centre, you're going to be heading over to this area, might be 3 or 4, 5, 6 minutes away. You're going to be doing some practice, then you're going to pull over, you're going to have a brief reflective chat, then you're going to be putting some more practice in place, then you'll be pulling over again, having another brief reflective chat, and then you're going to be heading back to the test centre, and once there, you're just going to wrap the whole lesson up. Top tip number 8, maybe 2 weeks, a week or a few days before the test itself, then take that particular student out on the test route that you plan to use, but don't try to rehearse it. It's more for your benefit. So you get into the mindset of knowing what it's going to feel like, driving down the specific roads that you're going to be using, the timing of which to give route directions and instructions, the types of things that are likely to come up on that test route, and it makes you feel a lot more confident that you're fully prepared for the day itself. But as I say, don't try to rehearse it. Don't get into this trap of saying to the student, okay, so we're going to head out from the test centre, we're going to go along this road, and at this point I'm going to say this and I want you to say that, and then at this point this is going to happen, I'm going to say this and you're going to say that, and here this is what we're going to do. That's a recipe for disaster. Top tip number 9, do have a backup student and take them through the same process. Unfortunately, even though the student that you've chosen may be normally a very reliable person, you can never predict what might happen. They might fall ill, they might get injured, there might be a family crisis. You've no idea what could be happening in their personal lives, unless of course they're related to you or they're a close family friend. Okay, so always be prepared for the unexpected and be prepared to need to swap students out almost last minute. So do have a backup student, but as I say, take them through the same process that you've taken your preferred student. And then finally, on a similar vein, top tip number 10. So with the student that you are preferring to use and also your backup student, do check with them the week before and a few days before that they're still available to support you. That way, if your preferred student suddenly isn't able to be there with you on the day, then it gives you time to notify the backup student that they're now going to be sort of stepping into the hot seat, so to speak, and they're going to be the ones that are supporting you on the day. Okay, I hope that made sense. I hope you found these top tips useful, and I'll be posting a follow-up video fairly shortly, which is going to take you through how to structure a Part 3 test to give you the best possible chance of passing. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for watching as always. Keep safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.